This video is brought to you by Cool Green Clothing.
I'm switching lanes so much, man. They can never get behind me, man. Yeah, I'm taking it all away, man. I ain't playing with them, man. One thing is the key, man. It's consistency, man. It don't matter, man, how good the product is, man. If you ain't out there, man, to get rid of it, man, the supply to demand, man, you going down, man. You in it for nothing, man. Get with me, man. I'm starting a whole league, man. Get with me, man. Get with the winning team, man. Cool Green Clothing. We going all the way, and we coming straight out of Baltimore.
What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. Subscribe if you're new to the fam. Hit that notification bell for future uploads. Let me give out this little disclaimer before I start. Everything in this video is public information. This is a requested video. This case haven't made it to trial yet, so all parties is innocent until proven otherwise. Everything is alleged. Let's get right into the story. When someone beats the odds of how their lives could have been or turned out, some say they are lucky. Coming from certain environments, seeing murder, hustling, robbery, pretty much everything, as soon as you open your front door, takes a toll on most people, leaving them to believe that's just how it is or how life's supposed to be. But some choose to stay focused on the right things and stay on the right path, no matter where they come from or what kind of trauma they have been through, turning pain into positivity and drive. Earlier this week, we covered a story about DeWitt Duckett, a 14-year-old boy that unfortunately lost his life in the hallways of Harlem Park Junior High School in 1983 over a Georgetown starter jacket. Now, in this episode of the Baltimore Way, we will be discussing how 30-something years later, 49-year-old Frankye Duckett unfortunately lost his life to gun violence as well over a petty situation. According to sources, Frankye was the youngest of 5 kids and spent his young life trying to stay positive and out the streets. After him and his siblings saw the pain their mother went through when she lost Frankie's older brother, DeWitt, back in 1983. So the young man vowed not to get into any trouble and to stay out the way, so he wouldn't be overcome by the city. The family lived in Harlem Park, West Baltimore, where Frankye grew up to be a great basketball player and would eventually pass down the love of the game to his kids. As he got older, time went by, and according to reports, Frankye worked hard in his adult years, being a school police officer and a manager of a facility for adults with disabilities. He married twice and had a big family with his children and grandkids. It seemed Frankye had escaped the trenches and made something great of himself. According to reports, he had just bought a home in Pennsylvania for when he got ready to retire in a few years, just for a slower pace of life away from Baltimore. But now, 49 years old and driving every day from Pennsylvania to Baltimore to work, he had a job as an MTA mobility van driver who picked up older passengers and people with disabilities. Then on Friday, January 29th, 2021, Frankye was working, doing his everyday routine, driving his van to pick up passengers. He would go to his last pickup location, where an elderly woman was waiting to get picked up on Mulberry Street. She was with her grandson, Marquise Poteet. Allegedly, Marquise decided he wanted to board the van with his grandmother, but did not have on a face mask. This was at the height of the pandemic, and following protocol, Frankye told the young man he could not board without a mask. Still trying to board anyway and ride with his grandmother, Marquise got upset, but Frankye stuck to his point before the man had a small exchange of a few words. Not thinking anything of it, the man continued working, picked up Marquise's grandmother, and proceeded to take her home. But the young man was still heated about the whole situation, in which he went to ask an associate, who we will call Mr. Ford, for a ride. This is where things get crazy. As Frankye was taking the woman home, she told him the person he argued with was her grandson. By this time, Marquise was a passenger in Mr. Ford's beige Buick LeSabre when he instructed the man to follow the MTA van. As the van stopped in Northeast Baltimore, Frankye was wrapping up his last stop when he was approached by a man with a gun before getting back on the bus trying to drive off. But unfortunately, the man put the gun through the window and started shooting, striking Frankye multiple times before running off. BPD was called to the 4400 block of Moravia Road to reports of shots fired. Once they arrived, they spotted a victim. It was 49-year-old Frankye, who was rushed to Johns Hopkins Bayview Hospital, but would unfortunately not survive the shooting. As word got back to the Duckett family, they were hurt and all in shock, as Frankye was a working man who never played in the streets, never did drugs, or acted like a tough guy, and they were confused who would want to hurt him. His family and friends will hold a memorial for the family man who tried so hard to stay out the way and to stay out of trouble. As everyone mourned, BPD started an investigation, and they realized the cameras on the MTA van caught the whole situation. A beige car pulling up, a man hopping out and approaching Frankye. Even worse, it caught the shooting and the man telling the shooter, "Don't do it." Police were quickly able to identify a suspect, 33-year-old Marquise Poteet, from the argument earlier that day. The shooter allegedly had on the same clothes Marquise had on. They quickly sent police to the man's home on Mulberry Street, where they noticed a beige Buick LeSabre driving off. They quickly got behind the vehicle and pulled it over, as it matched the getaway car from the shooting. Then they realized the driver of the vehicle wasn't their suspect, but a 30-year-old man. It was Mr. Ford. The vehicle was towed to the Baltimore Crime Lab, and Mr. Ford was taken in for questioning, where he told police allegedly Marquise approached him on Mulberry Street and instructed him to drive him to Northeast Baltimore. Then after the shooting, he dropped Marquise off downtown, but he wasn't nowhere to be found. Mr. Ford was taken into custody and charged with first-degree murder, use of a firearm in a crime of violence, transporting a handgun in a vehicle, and conspiracy to commit murder. The search was still on for Marquise, and he was eventually caught in Florence, South Carolina, and held before being extradited back to Baltimore and charged with murder charges, assault, and firearm violations. As the public and the Duckett family viewed the tape of Frankye's last moment, it took everyone by surprise, and how an alleged petty argument over a face mask would lead to the senseless murder of a man doing his job. The case has not made it to trial yet, and everything is alleged. Marquise and Mr. Ford are innocent until proven otherwise. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to the Duckett family for their loss of both of their siblings, Frankye and DeWitt. May they both rest in peace, and may the family find peace and healing. More of this story, we can be doing all the right things in life, staying out the way, working, and being positive. But one encounter with someone with a chip on their shoulder or who does not know how to control their emotions can lead to a person being gone. It's dangerous when you have everything to lose, and every day you are encountering people that have nothing to lose. Senseless crimes has plagued a beautiful city for years and hurt families all over Baltimore. If we don't care, what makes us think the police and courts will? We gotta save us. Nobody else can. Or each generation will be worse and worse because they will claim to be products of their environments. But hey, that's just the Baltimore way. Man, crazy story, you feel me? Rest in peace, Frankye. Rest in peace, DeWitt. I can't imagine what that family was going through or went through, you feel me, all them years thinking, okay, we lost one, we good, we ain't gotta go through that again. Everybody else working, doing the right things, and this man, Frankye, get killed at work over a face mask, allegedly, over an argument over a face mask. This is a petty situation, you know. I know at the end of the day, man, stuff like this ain't gonna stop happening, unfortunately. But man, we gotta think before we react. You know, you take a man's life over something petty like this, and now you facing life in prison just cause pride, basically. That's all it seemed like. Somebody pride got hurt and they wanted to retaliate because they felt played in front of their peoples or whatever, you know. But at the end of the day, man, you gotta understand, us as men, we gotta understand, that a small disagreement don't mean they gotta go to violence, or just cause somebody raised their voice a little loud, or just cause we have a so-called few words with a person don't mean they gotta get out of control. You know, we gotta agree to disagree sometimes and keep it moving and understand that everything is love and respect at the end of the day. That's what it's about, man. But crazy story, if you haven't seen the earlier video I posted earlier this week, you know, with his brother, y'all make sure y'all go check that out on the Baltimore Way. I did Tuesday. But y'all already know, man, it's all love, fam. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. It's your boy Tony 2 times. I'm out.